Welcome to Best Ball Whenever. Thank you guys for waiting around for us. As my boomer self, I had to have Brian walk me through setting up the Draft Caddie, but we got it all set up. We are ready to go. Really happy to have Brian Hooper, aka Bric75, here with me. Brian, this is your second stream of the day. You're just a regular Pete Overzet.
That's right. Yeah, I'm following Pete's step. I'm actually trying to take Pete's role in the DFS
in the industry
community. Yeah,
you should. It seems like a pretty sweet gig, just doing streams all the time as your only source of income. It's good gig to get, I think.
Yeah, ever since I found out he was a known skeet ball cheater.
I mean, we can't have that. We can't have a skee ball cheater as our thought leader in the DFS / best ball space. So we're gonna do a draft here, and as I said, I just installed the Draft Caddie. So Brian, thankfully can lead us through showing us how to use the Draft Caddie as we're doing it. Good to have Brian here as I'm walking through it. Should we? I'll bring up the screen. You can we can decide now if we want to. Like, do we need to look around at it? Do you want to show us anything in the Draft Caddie before we get started, or should we just like?
You can pop that settings open if you want. That settings page we're looking at. Yeah, it's the S. You just click that S, and then there's a settings button. They won't be able to see it because that's how StreamYards works until you get to that actual settings page, and then they'll see it. Okay. If you click, click OK, and then it looks like it's good. You got to choose that column 3. Since I want to show the ownership percentage stuff. Yeah. Oh, wait, it's already set up. Yeah. That's where people usually do that overlay that Pete shows all the time, like week 16, week 17 opponent.
Oh, yeah. Which we can't really do right now, but you can.
And then we have a ton of other stuff you could overlay. The problem is it's all last year. And so it's none of it is worth anything right now. So there's no schedule yet anyways because this is insane that we are drafting this early.
Yeah, this is going to be my 7th Best Ball Mania draft already. Before we even know the schedule, so I could have just every single player on my team with week 7 bye or something.
It's possible. I think it's fun though. Why not? Why not draft 5 months before the season starts?
Anything else you want to show here before we get
the Underdog draft settings is 2 over from that best ball columns. If you could click that.
Yep.
And then scroll down slightly, a little bit more to where the sliders are and stuff. This is where you set your settings for that auto drafter. On Underdog, it's a auto suggester. It queues a player up for it, but they don't allow the full automation. Okay. So it will just queue them based off of like your preferences of correlation. And there's like an algorithm in the background that uses Leone's draft capital info from his manifesto, and it tries to assign it to the buckets he thinks do best. Like basically a lot of wide receivers, and you could even force it a little more with slightly above the sliders. You can do like a 0 RB draft style and stuff like that. And all these things nudge. They don't force, right? It's not. So you'll still get RBs with a 0 RB draft strategy, just for those who think 0 RB is actually 0 RB.
Right. Same team maximum. What is this? Is this total players or from one position?
Total players from a same team. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of like you could kind of think of that as a stack size.
Right. But it's the maximum. So it's
so this would be like QB and tight end, 2 wide receivers.
Okay, I'm okay with like majorly stacking. I guess is it set up in a way that is suggesting to me what my settings should be? Because this was set at 3.
No, not well, kind of, but no, 5 is perfectly fine.
Okay.
And
I was gonna call you out for not pandering to bye week bros like myself, but I see you do have the avoid same position bye week overlap metric on there, so I'm glad to see that.
That's on there. Yep. We're gonna be drafting, so require 1 by each position. Well, none of that won't matter.
Yeah.
The week 16, 17 correlation obviously will not matter right now. Right. There is no correlation. Let's see. Yeah, the same team positive correlation. That's a negative correlation.
Oh.
So you could think of that as 2 tight ends from the same team. You kind of don't really want that, right? So how much do you not want that? If you really, really don't want it, you move that all the way up. If you're okay with it, you go all the way down. So it's set somewhere where I think it's about right.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to totally waste the value if somehow that falls into your lap, I guess. But I don't know.
Right.
Generally, you kind of want to avoid that. Except
do you have thoughts on running back hand cucking? It seems like that would apply to like taking, Najee and Jalen Warren on the same team.
Yeah, I would think that is hand cucking right here. This would be your hand cucking metric. So if you don't care at all about that, slide it all the way to the left.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And again, it's going to suggest a player on Underdog. On DraftKings, it will actually draft them.
Cool. So DraftKings is okay.
If you at least don't like the suggestion, just change it.
Sweet. All right. And we can always come back to this after. Should we hop in a draft and then afterward we can talk about the settings? If we think about anything as we go, we can adjust after.
Yeah, that's how it works too. If you adjust it, it'll adjust in real time.
That's awesome. Shady, Sack, Chris, good to see you all here. I'm also curious when Sack is going to start doing a lot more streams. Sack is also a busy guy. He's got a full-time job. This is true. This is what's holding us up. The brothers are back together. Exactly right. I got my Lowell's hat on today. I tried to get this in time for when you came on playing for keeps. Was not able to get it in time. Yes, you are seeing double, Bindles. Check your brain.
Travis, do you play basketball? Have you played basketball? I don't remember if he does.
I'm pretty sure Travis does not play basketball, but he's just a huge basketball advocate who does not play.
And old guys do move a little slower, but I was just crushing it on the golf course yesterday.
Oh, were you? How'd you do?
Yeah. Not accurate, but far as fuck.
Really? I'm not much of a golfer. Oh, that doesn't work with two people. All right, whatever. How far?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't measure it.
Okay.
If I get it
far
good
as fuck though.
On the on the track, man, I can get it over 300 yards.
We're entering the draft. If anybody wants to draft with us in 3, 2, 1. Oh, this one.
So, to explain some of this stuff, the draft capital is the info in the middle of the screen there underneath your Q section.
Underneath my Q section. Yep.
You see there's a draft capital that will auto populate and calculate and change the algorithm as the draft goes based on your positions you're taking.
Okay.
The target buckets are where Leone thinks is the optimal draft capital to expend at each position. If you look at the player list with Christian McCaffrey there.
Yep.
I had you upload ETR's info, but you can upload whatever you want. And obviously ETR, you'd have to pay for their package to get their data. But that is their percent that the player was drafted, the far right one. Their ranking is the middle one, and their ranking by positions, their far left one.
It went away. Oh, it's back. It's back. Okay.
Yeah, if somebody gets taken, it'll refresh.
I see.
And if you could refresh the page, we're next. You could just leave it for now. Let's just see.
Okay.
Let's just let it pick. The update too. It's going to be a lot faster picking a player.
Cool.
Because right now
it's in here. All right. So we are. Oh, it's auto. What did I do? For whatever reason, it's okay. Good. Justin Jefferson is our pick. It is.
Yeah. Or you can just pick whoever you want.
Yeah. This is a suggestion for us. I'm a Vikings fan. I don't know if it offends you to draft Justin Jefferson as a Bears fan.
No.
You good with the pick? All right, we're gonna draft Justin Jefferson
as the world's #1 Bears fan.
Yeah. Should I refresh now?
Yeah, refresh the page. Because we have this new feature which was popped up. Yeah, there it is. So if you look above Neil's name in the top scroll, you could see 120D. That means you did 120 drafts last year, which I think's right. And
that is correct.
And you have an 8.0. That means that's your standard deviation of what you did last year, standard deviation of ADP. Okay. And if you hover over any of those you get even more info. So if you just sit there, oh, you know what? I bet it doesn't show on the stream. It doesn't show on the stream, but you see it, right?
Oh, really? Yeah, I do see it. So
It's a StreamYard thing.
Yeah,
that pops up a bunch. That's too bad. Oh, that's why Pete usually shows a picture.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, so it's got more detailed info on all your opponents.
Yep, it'll show you the total number of drafts that they did, which I don't know. Can you see the total number of drafts? Like, can you see that Duke did 150? Yeah, you saw mine. But you can see the standard deviations, average builds, closing line value, value hound ratio, all that kind of stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah. And the average of like the guys who won 50 is on there too, so you have something to compare it to.
Yep.
I would say like what the average 150 people do is probably not GTO yet. It's probably still not right, but at least you could tell if someone's more loose or pass, or if they like taking tight ends early or whatever. So you can kind of adjust, especially if you're on the turn, which we're not totally on the turn here. So
no,
it'll be tough to kind of predict. But
we're right in the middle. I mean, 5th pick is
just another piece of information. So you're like, so if you, it's hard for me to read, but if you look at, what is that guy?
Duke,
COH, who's like 4 picks over?
C Kopech.
So he's kind of loose.
The 4D suggests he's kind of loose with his drafting.
The 10.5. Okay.
10.5. Gotcha. That's the standard
10.5. That means he's kind of loose. But now we also have a 4 draft sample size. So it's not telling us a ton.
Yep.
But it's telling us the guy doesn't draft a ton. That's okay. For sure.
Yeah.
So it looks like this is a pretty good room. You got 1, 2, 3 guys right there who barely played last year. 4 guys. Because if it says no data, that means they didn't draft one best ball team last year.
I don't know if that is a good thing or not. I mean, that might mean they're not going to stay in their lane. They don't really know what they're doing. They're going to take my quarterback after I try and get my stack set up. But yeah, I think that's probably generally a good thing, right?
Is that how you play blackjack? Like you sit there and someone doesn't do the right move and you feel like they've hurt you somehow?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean,
supposed to stand against a 4.
Yeah. If it were playoff best ball, I guess you wouldn't want those guys, the newbies in your room, because you can't like set up your teams for the playoff. But I guess for a regular season, you just hope that these guys draft, Aaron Rodgers in the 8th round.
I think you always want the bad players.
It's do you do playoff best ball at all?
It sometimes doesn't work out because they screw you, but you always want bad. You don't want good, smart people in gambling. That's the last thing you want. And so
I mean. So I had this conversation with Shady on. Okay, we are up for our pick, and it's thinking about, now I see it is scrolling for me and then deciding what would be the best optimal pick for me. Should we follow it for now, Devin Achan?
If you want, unless you have
I'm cool with it.
Okay,
let's go Devin Achan.
Yeah, the new version, it scrolls the whole entire player list now. The new version, it will be like way faster, so it won't be as intrusive for hand builders. Which should be released like tonight or tomorrow. I should have given you I have the early release, but we just wanted to test it a little more. I should have let you use that. And then if you just want a hand build, turn it off with that little button. So, I'm not even saying that to the audience. I'm saying that to you. Like if you're sick of it, you don't have to use it.
Is it you just slide this over, or how do you?
You click that and then it'll refresh and then it won't auto draft anymore.
Cool. To answer your question, ATX, yes, this is the Lulz overdraft stream. Why does that not pop? Okay, there we go. Clint wants to know if there is a minimalist version. We also got the question, does it work on mobile? I'm assuming not on mobile, but I guess you can correct me if I'm wrong.
What does minimalist mean? Is that because you don't have to show all this stuff? Like he could go to settings and turn off all the info next to Deebo Samuel, for example, all those players. You can get rid of that. The draft capital and the players little two data points, that does auto show. You can't turn that off. But I don't think that it's not very intrusive, at least to my eye, those parts.
Yeah. You might just not be used to it yet if it feels like a lot.
And I think hopefully it still works. If you go to the little symbol, you don't have to do this stuff. You can disable the entire app.
Well, I've already got it open here, right? Oh, I guess that's
no, the symbol. They can't see
it's up here.
They can't see the symbol because of StreamYard. But it says on their disable app, I think. and you could just turn it all off real quick if you don't want to see it. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of fail safes. I don't know. I'm used to this whole idea I ripped off from Poker Tracker.
Yeah.
I've said it a bunch of times on lulls. I'm used to playing poker where I would have, like 50 data points on each player at the table, or hopefully 0, which is what I was trying to explain to you, Neil. You want the guys who barely play, if you like money anyways. And so that's, for me, I like all this info, and
Yeah. It's good info to have for sure.
And then, and you have even the extra data where you can scroll over.
I'm curious if it doesn't give us Waddle, which kind of surprises me a little bit, just because we have the Devin Achan, so it's not doing the correlation there with Waddle and Achan.
No, there's no correlation, positive correlation for an RB and a wide receiver on the same team. With what it's looking for now is, and you could take Waddle if you want, it would be boosting up Tua.
Okay. Yeah. That
because you had A-Chain.
But there's no automatic correlation between running backs and wide receivers on the same team. Is that something that I could toggle on if I wanted to, or is that just not part of it right now? Okay.
There is none of that. There's the only correlations are with QBs, wide receiver, running back, tight end, and it's different for each position. And week 16, week 17 correlations, which are non-existent right now.
Right. Okay. Good to know. And that's based on the Leone manifesto. Like he did not find to be like major correlation between running backs and wide receivers, or that just
I don't know if that's in there or not, but okay. I'm almost positive there's not.
Okay.
So and whatever it would be very small, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you really want like 3 or 4 guys from the same team without their QB. Seems probably like a mistake to me, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
So it's this is I feel like the best ball meta is that there is positive correlation within the team, and that's isn't intuitive to me, but I feel like I've heard it enough that I'm like, okay, it must be true. But maybe that's something that I need to research a little more. But I feel like I have heard that there is like, for a season long, not from a week to week standpoint, but from like a season long standpoint, like betting on the full team. I've heard it suggested that there is positive correlation there, but again, that's not. I haven't read any like studies that suggest that is the case. I've heard enough people say it on streams. I'm like, okay, maybe that's true.
Yeah, maybe. I could be wrong.
So to get back to my point about playoff best ball. So Shady and I talked about this on the stream, and I've talked about it with several people. I think that my opinion is you want in the contest at large, you want there to be bad drafters, but not in your actual draft room for playoff best ball, because you need to like correlate to like make sure you have full team stacks for the championship game. So it's like if everybody stays in their lane in the playoff best ball contest, you're going to be able to get like better championship matchup full stacks. Whereas, if you get people just randomly taking one player from each team, they kind of break that up. And then you're playing against other people who have like all the best players from one team. So it's like, you want bad players in the contest as a whole, but like maybe not your draft room.
Sure. I guess in that's very specific example of bad player, maybe.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of variations of bad player.
True. That's good.
So you still would rather have the bad player who's like stacking wrong.
Yep.
You still have to advance out of your pod too. Even in playoff best ball. And I think I'd still almost always just take the bad player.
All right, Jesus, take the wheel. What's going on here?
And it won't take the wheel because you had the you'll have to draft yourself here.
Okay.
Because you had the draft board open.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I could go Pacheco. I could go James Cook. I've already got one running back. Yeah, I'm just going to go Tank Dell and hope that he's not seriously hurt by being shot. So I can't have the board open if I wanted to. Okay.
He probably was seriously hurt, but hopefully he's it will be okay.
Hopefully he's better.
Yeah, being shot tends to hurt, I think.
So I to your point, I think that like you would love it if you have the bad drafter who overstacks from one team. So just like NBA playoff best ball, just like I'm going to draft 9 Pacers, and if they make the championship, I'm going to kill it. That kind of bad drafter. Maybe you want just like, all right, you just take up all of one team, overdraft that one team. So yeah, I think there are.
that's how the best ball playoff algorithm kind of works. It's like just taking guys from the same team, trying to give you like 3 or 4 from the two from each conference. That one was a pain in the ass.
I'm sure that's got
To
to be tough.
dial in.
It's a brain game.
This is really this is really also factoring in this draft capital buckets as you can. Well, you already took you manually took a wide receiver, but it's going to like wide receivers.
Okay. Early on, especially.
Maybe early on, but mainly because just the algorithm's going to favor taking wide receivers. But within reason.
6 in the first 6 rounds.
I bet the next pick, it will go probably go QB or tight end.
Okay.
At this point, I'm guessing, especially with Andrew sitting there at the top.
We did take Tank Dell, so theoretically it could tell us, oh, we want CJ Stroud.
Okay, so now it's so it stacks, which makes sense.
Yep. It's intuitive,
right? And it's going to do this unless you like go into the settings and adjust for like 0 QB.
Right.
It's not going to know that you want to wait for your QB to the 9th or 10th round. It's going to be more of a balanced team, like you're kind of saying, unless you specifically mess with the settings.
Yeah.
And you can see there. So it was probably very close between Stroud and Andrews because you don't have a tight end.
Right.
And, but you also have Tank Dell.
So can I see how much draft capital I have invested in wide receivers right now? Like, does it show me?
It's the second category there. It's the decap. So the position you have 76 at QB.
Okay.
110 at RB and 313 at wide receiver. So you're still in the 4th bucket in wide receiver, and it's trying to get you to the 1st bucket.
Gotcha. Okay. Wait. Where am I looking for this?
It's right underneath your mouse cursor, right there.
62. Oh, I see. The decap. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was missing that.
So that's constantly updating. That column right there.
And I'm already at 110 for running back.
Yeah, because you took Achane.
Second round, yeah.
Or what does he go by now? Achane,
I think. If I remember right.
Yeah, you took him early. Those early picks, that's how you rack up the draft capital. So it's gonna be kind of tough for you to get into the bucket 1 with wide receiver after you take a running back so early.
So I said that I have decap of 313 already, and it's the ideal is between 298 and 342. Am I misreading this?
Yeah. That is the bucket 4s, lows, and highs. So when you get to 343, you'll be in bucket 3 now.
I see. Okay. Gotcha.
And if you look at the green lettering next, it says next 62.
Yep.
That's your next draft capital spending will be 62 points.
Okay. I'm following.
So let's say you take a tight end. You're going to skip right past bucket 5 because it's 28 is the cap on bucket 5. So you'll be in the least bucket 4 in tight end if you take one now. If you take a QB, you're gonna get up to bucket 1 probably, or at least 2.
Okay. And it says that my target here for tight ends is bucket 4. It's not bucket. Oh, is that just based on my next pick? My target is
the tight end bucket. It's kind of weird. He says he has it either bucket 1 or bucket 4 are the same. Okay. Like the EV's the same. So basically, you could take like Travis Kelce or wait, is what the data tells him.
Yep.
Interesting. And also, I'm interpreting. I haven't talked to Loney about this stuff. That's just my guess on.
The manifesto also, I think, is a couple years old at this point, so it's possible, like with the changing draft landscape, it's like, okay, it wants me to take a tight end here. We good with that?
Makes sense.
Yep.
And again, if you think like tight end's getting taken too early, you go in and put it at 0 tight end. Or if you want Kelce or whoever would be the highest this year at tight end, you can do Crankin' Purple.
Yeah.
Is that the
wait, Crankin' Purple?
Yeah, isn't that the what they call taking a tight end?
Is it? Maybe I'm not familiar with that term.
Someone should know in chat.
Yeah, cranking
What's
purple.
cranking purple?
Like we piss yellow and then crank
Pissing
purple.
yellow's wide receiver.
Clint F says, is that a crack rock thing?
Well, I don't know what crack rock is.
You don't know
cranking
who crack
purple's
rock is?
just like pissing yellow. It's the old.
Yeah. I get it. I understand the meaning, but
I mean, I know what crack is. I know the drug.
no, crack rock. He's the big like he breaks NFL news all the time, and they reference it on Ship Chasing sometimes. They give him credit.
No, it's a draft board. The position is purple, just like the position is yellow for wide receiver.
Yeah,
so it looks like you're pissing yellow if you take a bunch.
Purple is quarterback. Purple is quarterback. Tight end is blue.
Not on Underdog. It's on normal draft boards or whatever. It's
okay.
It's not an Underdog thing.
All right. Yeah, and crack rock. I don't understand if it's a bit. Like I think that he's just he's doing a bit and he doesn't actually have any inside info. I don't pay close attention to it, but he gets things right.
His name's Crack Rock.
Exactly. I'm like, I think it's a joke, but I'm not entirely sure.
And just to answer Clint's question, it does work for DraftKings. It's an auto drafter though. So like it will just, if you turn that guide me on, it will just actually pick the player. So like you don't even have to sit there.
All right. This wants us to take Jaylen Warren. I'm good with that.
I don't know why. Let's see. I guess that makes sense. So I would say it's probably between Warren or one of these wide receivers. All those wide receivers do kind of suck.
Yeah, that's probably the reason.
So I guess I don't hate it. Right. I don't know. I mean, it's your team.
I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm a big believer in Warren. So
okay,
and he is our second running back. I'm just going to trust. I'm going to let you.
I guess JSN maybe there. I would probably take. I don't know about these other guys. You know, two old guys and Deontay Johnson got. You know, they bought him for a bucket of baseballs.
Okay, Mike Rabb says it's a crack rock thing from Ship Chasing going hyper tight end. It's from FFPC, which I think is like a tight end premium format.
Yeah, FFPC I think is where the cranking purple comes from.
Okay,
right. Wait,
I believe it. I've never done FFPC.
You never cranked it purple, huh?
I've never cranked it purple. Well, I've cranked it purple, just not on FFPC.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, it's tight end because it's in the draft settings. You could go 0 tight end, hero tight end, or cranking purple. So those work like 0 tight end, obviously like bumps tight ends down. Hero tight end bumps up 1, a hero, just 1. And cranking purple bumps up all tight ends, which makes a lot more sense on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Because you have the flex spot. So when there's a big tight end year, I think it makes a ton of sense. Turns out that the big tight end years contain Kyle Pitts and just completely ruin. Or last year Andrews got hurt. That really screwed the tight end strategy up on DraftKings. But I think tight ends on DraftKings makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I have a question. This red box down here around Trey Benson, is that like right now? Do we think that would be our suggestion?
I don't remember what that means. No. Oh, no. That doesn't. It's not predicting anything. Oh, okay. So another thing it'll do is if you do. When's our next pick? We got a while
coming up in 4
If you just scroll down, manually scroll down in that, you'll eventually see. Don't scroll too fast. Highlighted players, and that means they're correlated with your quarterback. So it doesn't look like there's a Houston wide receiver anytime soon.
Yeah, it would be Dalton Schultz would be our next.
Yeah. So in theory, there you go.
Dalton
Schultz. You see how it's highlighted? Yeah, that means it's correlated. The red, I don't remember what that means. I should probably look that up.
Means something though.
Means something. And then, once we start getting into round 15 or so, then we'll start caring about that third column, the 100% drafted, and, try to take some chances on guys who might not be fully owned.
Oh, yeah, right. All right, it wants us to take Trey Benson. This is
maybe that is
third running back.
Maybe you guessed it right.
I kind of want to just do it and just follow the lead for a little while and kind of see what the plan is, like how it
Yeah.
adjusts for us naturally.
Right. So now I'm assuming here's another thing too is it looks like we're kind of taking a lot of running backs compared to the Piss Boys,
Yeah.
but we're still in bucket 5 for our RB. So you have not spent a lot of draft capital, even though it kind of feels like it.
It does feel 20th pick, 77th, and 92nd. Feels
Yeah,
like a
but
lot.
that total draft capital spent is 208. You're just under bucket 4.
Yeah.
So now it'll probably start pivoting and go wide receiver. I'm guessing, unless there's some like
I'm about to draft like 12 running backs, and we're going to find out there's a bug in your system.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you cannot choose not to draft it.
No, I refuse. I'm not going to. I'm just gonna let Jesus take
and then and then there's a lawsuit coming.
Yeah. By the way, I do think you should rename Draft Caddie to Draft Jesus, maybe. You know, I like just saying Jesus take the wheel. It's just
the Draft Jesus. That's actually not bad. See, it's highlighting Brock Purdy now. I'm obsessed with this red box, and
we do have George Kittle. We do have George Kittle, so I guess that would make sense.
But we already have a QB, so I'm assuming it's not going to pick him. We'll see though. Oh, maybe that. No, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what it is.
I'm looking forward to finding out. But it also, like, as I scroll down, it moved the red box from Trey Benson to James Conner for a little bit. So I'm not sure.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, now it moved it to Javonte Williams.
Yeah, so maybe it's just a bug.
And does it show me, can I see somewhere here what percentage I have drafted of a player in the contest?
What?
Like if I want to see how many times I have drafted Brock Purdy, like in case I want to spread out my exposure.
Yes. Yeah. So if you how many picks do we have here? We got let it pick and then we'll do that. Yeah.
Christian, okay, good. It does lead us to a wide receiver here. And he's a falling wide receiver, good value spot here for Christian Watson.
Yeah, right. And of course it likes is it taking, I'm trying to remember if it's taking based off of ADP or off of the ETR rankings that you just uploaded. I cannot remember that one either. I should know that. But if you don't do anything, it takes based off the ADP.
Okay.
So I think this might be based off of it feels like that was an ADP pick, right? What was his ADP?
Yeah, his ADP was like 86 or something.
Yeah. So, but either way, it's gonna try to take the value. Like it's looking for value, but it's still looking to get your draft capital lined up and your correlations right. But it can only know what it tells you, which is either ADP or your uploaded personal rankings.
Okay. So I can see here that this blue number is the ETR ranking because I know they love Tyler Lockett, right?
Yes.
So I have my rank. So I wonder if the red box is related to their ranking somehow. I don't know.
So if you go, how many? We got some picks. If you go to the Underdog, like you like wherever your exposures are, I can't remember what page that is. If you like, if you go there. And then highlight, just wherever your exposures are. I can't remember. Yeah, completed. The one you want to see, just click that. And then click grab exposures button to the left there in the Draft Caddie. Click that once and it should say, captured. Now go back to the draft just to make sure we don't miss a pick.
Yep.
This is another thing too. As long as you have this up like this and you don't have the draft board up and you're not on the page, it will still pick something for you.
Cool.
But you really should only have this open like you have it where it's in its own browser. Because if you have like 20 browsers open currently, it doesn't work great.
Yep.
And so it's just like recommended. Best practice is just have it in its own browser. Just pull it out of your tabs. If you're really, you're gambling for money. But we're going to work on something that makes it really easy to multi-table. Because I think that there's enough dudes out there like me who just want to do like 3 or 4 drafts at once, Right. I don't want to, and I'm not concentrating a ton.
Yeah.
But I want to be a total donkey. Okay. And so now you got the exposures. you have to go back to, we got what, 4 picks? You have to go back to that settings, the settings page, and go up to the best ball columns, all the way up best ball columns. And then in column 1, let's get rid of column 1. Let's scroll all the way down, and it says like my underdog exposures or something there. I can't see it, remember, because it's
okay. NFL
no.
NFL underdog exposures.
And then now go back to the draft and refresh the page. Oh wait, it's actually just let it pick, and then
all right, Singletary.
Okay, so I'm surprised it's not taking a wide receiver there. But if you refresh the page, it should have. And I think I already actually you didn't even need to refresh it. I saw it popped up. So like you have Gus Edwards, I guess, in a draft.
Okay. Huh.
And so it doesn't look like because you've only got 7 drafts. Most of these guys you're not going to have yet.
Right.
But it will show. There you go. There's some more.
It's all saying 50%. I wonder if it's.
Well, go back to that exposures page. What's it say on there? It's all 50%.
Oh, so my exposures page is not updated. So that's the issue, is that I think this is just showing my first 2 drafts. Sometimes that happens on Underdog. So it's an Underdog. I need to like.
Yeah. So when you update that, just do that again. Just go over there, grab exposures, and then.
Gotcha.
And then it'll have it. Yeah. So I always have that as one of my columns.
Yeah, I like that.
I really do not want to have like 70%, 60% of one dude.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Okay, there we go. Now we have. I can grab exposures again.
Yeah. And it looked like it auto does it, and you don't have to refresh it, but give it a second. Looks like there's like a wide receiver dead zone though back in that last pick. There it goes.
There we go.
Oh, you could see ETR has a naming issue with Josh Palmer.
Oh, yep. That's funny.
Yeah. So it's gonna look for whatever you got. So if you upload ETR's rankings and their names don't match, it's not gonna match.
Yeah.
But the ownership exposures match because it's copying it straight from Underdog. Oh, who was that highlighted? Go down to that correlated. Right. Oh, it's gonna pick.
It's probably Dalton Schultz. Yep. All right. Why don't you take Dalton Schultz?
Yep, because we want the correlation.
Yep. Adds up.
And there's no bye weeks yet either, so like that will also be a negative correlation you can adjust.
Yep.
When the schedule gets released.
All right, so it says for tight end, draft capital 85. We are in bucket 2. Target is bucket 4.
Right, but again, the tight end one's misleading because it's 1 or 4.
Right.
So I'm gonna sneeze.
My guess is though that it's not going to bless you. It's not going to force us to take any more tight ends, or it's going to probably not want any more tight ends, maybe unless they're like correlated late or something, would be my guess.
I would guess that's probably the last tight end you're getting. They're not 2 studs though, so you might get a third.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
if your draft capital was more like 140 or something with tight end, then you're probably not getting that third tight end.
Oh, wow. This is a new drafter taking Vidal in the 11th round. That's well ahead of ADP, I think. Yeah, his ADP of 182 took him at 131. Probably not getting that with somebody who's drafting a ton.
Well, and Pat Freiermuth was way early too, it looked like.
Oh, yeah. So
this is what I'm saying.
Yep.
You take the good with the bad. You just want the bad player and hope they don't screw you. And
yeah.
You know what's even better? Neil, is that cuts both ways. So even in the playoffs, the dumb, let's say he's dumb and he takes a 1-off, but it's against your opponent.
Oh yeah. I mean that's
so
great.
You don't get touched.
Can work out great. True.
He hurts one of your opponents and himself.
Yeah.
That's only going to happen with a donkey.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I definitely agree that like overall you want bad players in your contest. I understand that.
Yeah.
Just thinking there's
It
like
just sucks
specific
when
scenarios
they
where it
screw you, of
sucks. Yeah,
course. But you just got to take that variance and welcome them with open arms.
that is true. Um, so I assume that this tool does not work for mobile currently. I don't know. Do you have any plans for it to work
We
on
get that
mobile?
question all the
I'm
time.
sure. Yeah.
It's like I think I am not a great coder, but from my limited experience and talking with everyone else, it sounds like that is like not going to be worth the not going to be the juice, not going to be worth the squeeze to build that out.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, this whole app is like I'm not crying about it, but like I'm definitely negative on this app.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I use it, so I like it, and I want it to be better for myself. But like, yeah, paying that, it would probably cost like another 10 grand to get it to work. So if they could even figure out how to do it on a phone. But yeah, I realize a lot of people use their phone, which is cool. And we're not utilizing the new feature, which is the extra data underneath the players' names on their tendencies.
Okay.
If we were on the turn or closer to the turn, then we would probably start using it. Oh, and we're not really like thinking 3 moves ahead here. We're just kind of letting the app draft for us. But if you're thinking 3 moves ahead, then you really do want to look at your opponent's tendencies.
Right.
And like, because we could have waited on Dalton Schultz, maybe, even though it makes sense for our team. If we like go and look at the other guys and know they don't take tight ends, late, or if they just stick to ADP, if they're really nitty, and then like, oh, Dalton Schultz 15 spots from now, they're probably not going to take them. And then you just take the next guy you would want.
Yep. Yeah, it's not utilizing all that kind of those kind of game theory things in the auto selection, but we can take advantage of the other aspects of the draft caddy to do so.
Right.
All right. So we have 1 quarterback, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. So yeah, my guess is that we're going to be pissing a lot for the remainder of this draft, but we'll see.
And what round are we getting in?
We are in the 13th round right now, and we're up next.
We still have a few rounds before we want to scroll the F down.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like everybody at the top of the board here is 100% drafted.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan's statement here. Yeah, another wide receiver. No surprise. We're in bucket 3 now. At this point, this team's not getting to bucket 1.
Here's Ryan saying, Brick, it's similar to people who complain when the salary pricing is weak for a DFS slate. Makes no sense. You want free EV anywhere you can get it. Yeah, you want soft pricing. Yeah, it's kind of a tough concept sometimes, but like after you hear it explained, it's like, oh yeah, soft pricing is like that's where you find your edge in DFS.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to give them as many opportunities to make stupid decisions.
Yep.
But yeah, like I was saying, we're not getting into bucket 1 at this point of wide receiver. And it's kind of fun doing it when you have this, even if you don't do the auto draft or look at all the extra information, like even if you don't do that, it's you kind of get used to like, oh, I need to start taking wide receivers early if I want to get into this bucket 1 deal. Because after you do a few of these, you recognize how hard it is to get into bucket 1 and how to like overdraft at other positions that it is, assuming you think Leone's research is right.
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably not that far off.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good research. It's just a matter of it might change with the change in the draft landscape since he put out the manifesto. Like these things may have changed a little bit, but who knows? I wonder if he's going to put out another manifesto this year because I think it's a couple years old at this point, and people have adjusted using the manifesto, so it's possible like now the meta shifts a little bit,
right? And we will adjust the algorithm if that's the case. But I don't know, and you could still customize it how you want a little more with the settings. We didn't really tweak much, and some people really like correlations on their team too, like you kind of do actually. So you'd probably rather jack up your teammate correlations and stuff.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I'm that guy. I was thinking, do we have any Cleveland guys, but no, I don't think it's going to give us Deshaun Watson. I guess maybe I wonder if it would give us a quarterback to, like, if there are back-stacking options, like, is it going to consider whether there are, Cleveland receivers after the Deshaun Watson pick that we might want? Like, does it factor in that kind of thing, or is that?
No, it doesn't. I
Okay.
would it thinks about what's on your team. And so what did it go with? Another running back? Yeah.
We're going another running back. All right, let's do it.
It goes with what's on your team. And so, like, if you had a Cleveland wide receiver or tight end or running back, it would value Deshaun Watson a little higher.
You're right. This is not factoring like what's left on the board.
It doesn't think about Watson and then Elijah Moore, whoever is could be in the pick next. Yeah.
Proud of you for knowing who would be there for Cleveland.
Yeah. I know ball. Okay.
Did you recognize the player in the thumbnail of this video?
I actually I gotta go in there and hold on. Don't say it yet. Let me go there. I gotta like this video.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the 13th. That's bad luck. You guys gotta like the video too, so I'm not unlucky.
Oh yeah, please do like the video. I'm actually a proponent of 13. I got married on September 13th, Friday, September 13th.
Whoa.
In 2019, and then October 13th. So the following month, I got my first 6-figure win. So I'm a big believer in 13 being lucky.
I have triskaidekaphobia, so.
All right, that's unfortunate.
Oh, is that Mingo?
That is Jonathan Mingo. Yeah. I actually thought about doing Xavier Leggett, going back to your conversation with Pete earlier about how he's like the new Mingo.
That would have been beyond me. Okay, so it wants
should we do it? Should we just
it wants so this is basically it's calculating all your capital at other positions.
Yep. And it just
says saying it's about time to take a backup.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one might be one I bypass since you don't have any correlation with it.
So I will say, just looking through my other players, every other, like all of my receivers, their quarterbacks are already gone. My tight ends, the quarterbacks are gone. So that might also so that's part of the reason I'm willing to just take the value and backstack it, because I don't have any other quarterbacks that I can currently stack up with my wide receivers or tight ends.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Minnesota. Never mind. I could take, but that's a little bit tough with the not knowing who the Vikings quarterback is actually going to be this year.
Right. And that depends on the rankings and ADP, because it doesn't know. It just knows, they're 215th ranked. It's too far right now. You can't take them,
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's going to take basically a pretty well balanced team. It's not, because if you leave, like if you don't have this and you just do the auto draft thing, you get like these crazy stupid teams, right? So like that's like kind of like the line of defense one is it's going to give you a reasonably balanced team.
Yeah.
And then you can play with the settings if you really want to piss yellow or whatever.
Right.
And it's gonna go, and the correlation is, how much do you want to push it?
Yeah.
If you push it up to 100%, you're gonna get a playoff best ball team.
Right.
You don't want to do that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you're gonna start going for guys who are like 190th in the third round because you have their QB.
Yep.
So I don't know if it'll go that bad, but it's probably pretty close.
Let me ask you this. So we have the, draft capital, the targets, whatever. Do you have a chart anywhere, or could you put up a chart somewhere that shows you like what the number is you need to hit if you want to hit, for example, bucket one for wide receiver? Is that up somewhere already that I haven't seen?
No, it's not.
Because that might be useful just to like have an idea of like what am I aiming for here?
Yeah, we probably have that somewhere. I could put it on the Discord or something. But after you do a few of these, you'll know. You'll have it. I think it's like 500 or something.
Okay. And we're not going to get there in this one.
No, because as you can see, look at the draft capital for the picks, the remaining picks. You see how it says next 2?
Next is 2, yeah.
Yeah. Because you have to do it early. This is what I'm saying. It kind of teaches you.
Right. what you need to do in the early rounds.
What you need to do to hit those buckets if you want to play that way, you know.
Right. All right, we're going receiver here. So adding a couple points there, and we're at 380 draft capital for receivers. So our next one our next one will move up to bucket 2 for receivers. We're at the high end right now.
You're right.
So we'll be close.
So that's not bad. You're close. Yeah, and it's very hard to get bucket 2, bucket 5, bucket 1, get it perfectly in there.
Right.
And it doesn't wholly matter because, like, let's say Travis Kelce falls to whatever round. Like, you take them. It doesn't matter that you want to be in bucket 5 for tight end today. You know, you just
at
take
some
the
point
value.
you just say screw the bucket. Yeah.
Yeah, and say screw the bucket, and it'll do that too. You know.
Yeah.
You could see here we're starting to get it to players who are not drafted fully.
Oh yeah. So this is where we get into the scroll the F down.
Right. So like Bo Nix right there, that's pretty good at 59%. Now that he's drafted, that's gonna go up because he went to a team that wants to play him.
Well, is this just for best ball mania or like post draft? This is probably just for post draft contests, right? Or does this factor in like the January pre-draft contest? Because I think that's like in Underdog that would be considered a different like.
I think
draft set.
I think they have a formula a regression that they're guessing.
Okay.
At what percentage he's drafted right now based on his ADP and position, probably. Elijah Moore actually might be a decent pick at this point. Yeah. Because we have
Deshaun Watson. I'm curious if it's going to tell us to take Elijah Moore at this point. Like I would think that would be like the
probably. We'll see. And again, if it doesn't, and you think it should, you would go to your settings and jack your QB up.
Yeah.
QB correlation up a little bit.
Right.
Because you're always just trying to dial in the settings to how you want to draft.
Okay.
I do. Did he get picked? I thought I saw like Lad McConkey or whatever, the rookie.
Oh, he got picked a while ago.
I love that. I love that name.
It is a great name. That's probably
a great football name.
One of the best names in the current draft, the recent draft.
What do we got here? 2 picks.
Yeah,
so I'm hopefully. I think we should take more either way, but I'm guessing it's gonna give us more unless someone took him.
Don't do it to us, Winky. I know you're thinking about it. Don't do it to us.
He's a 150 maxer too. He's probably.
All right, he goes Bateman. No, we're gonna go Elijah Moore.
Yeah, go Elijah Moore. What's his ranking? 205. Okay, so yeah, there's a what is that? 15 or 20 ADP. So you'd probably want to move the QB correlation up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be going like 50 spots to take to force your correlation,
right? Unless
you really want it to.
Yeah.
Right. The default settings are more conservative.
Okay.
Which I think they should be because no one, someone who starts using this, they don't know, they're going to lose their mind if they, take some wide receiver they never heard of 70 spots early.
Right. Yeah. Like the most important thing is probably just having your like draft capital in the right buckets, like in the right positions. Right. So that's probably like the biggest factor in the default settings. And then you can push up correlation, but like, for somebody who's new, you just want it to like, you'd rather have it just draft in the right buckets would be like the first step.
Yeah. Right. And this is only if you want to purely do what we're doing, which is just kind of like letting it pick for us.
Right.
You can use all the data points to come up with your own draft strategies and not follow it at all, which is what most people do when they're actually spending time drafting.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if I had a redo, I probably would not have gone with Deshaun Watson there. I feel like a lot of them are like, it seems like a reasonable pick. I mean, it was a reasonable pick because we had the.
I'm fine with it with Moore now.
Yeah, now it works out with the.
And I think Moore was fairly low owned too.
Yeah,
I think it said 59%. I couldn't remember what it said.
I don't know if we can check that now.
It doesn't show there. No, you'd have to be in the player list, or actually, you can go to the rankings page too if you really wanted to. I think it might show there too. Let's see if you go to NFL. Let's see if you give it a second. See if the it pops up. There you go.
69.
Not bad. Not bad. So if Elijah Moore goes off, 31% of people won't have him.
Yeah.
Better than 100%, which in that range usually is going to be about 100%.
Right. Brendan Rice goes. I'm curious about what his ownership is. Sorry, I kind of want to look. I'm going to start scrolling.
Well, go back to the rankings.
Oh yeah, I guess I can just do it in the rankings. Oh yeah, I can look at Rice here. Just 41%.
That's pretty juicy.
Yeah. He's kind of interesting. Do you know who his father is?
Jerry?
He is Jerry. Brick Nose Ball.
That means he has to be good.
Exactly. I mean, people are drafting Christian McCaffrey's, I want to say nephew. Is it? I forget if it's his brother or his nephew. These Nepo babies. These are the best picks.
Yeah. No one complains about Nepo babies when it's their team getting a stud running back.
Exactly. I did like this comment. This is a long time ago, this comment, and I have been meaning to respond to it, but this is funny. When we were drafting in the 7th round, you pointed out that there are 2 old guys and Deontay Johnson. I had no idea that Godwin and Deontay Johnson were born in the same year. That surprises me. I would definitely think of Godwin as being like at least a little bit older than Deontay Johnson.
I thought Godwin was older than that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But the other guy was, what's his name?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, come on, he's the old guy. Listen, they're all way younger than me and Neil.
Yeah, right.
We would love to be that young.
Jesus, take the wheel. What are we doing here?
Yeah, you have to refresh it if you do want Jesus to take the wheel.
Right.
I don't know why. Maybe going back to that other page.
Oh, okay.
Messed it up, but it'll pick it up here.
Will Shipley. All right. That's fun. That's a fun pick. 74% drafted so far.
Another thing we might have to add in. Well, here's another thing too. It'll work based on your rankings.
Yep.
So like if you want to favor guys who are less drafted, just raise them up on your rankings.
Sure. That makes sense.
Again, if you don't want to do any work yourself.
Yeah. That was our final pick of this draft, so we can look through the team. I think we only made one manual pick. We thought through all of them. If we want to take this pick that is being suggested, and for the most part, we thought it was a good suggestion. But we ended up with CJ Stroud, Deshaun Watson at quarterback. I feel like that's a strong quarterback room. Devin Achane, Jalen Warren, Trey Benson, Devin Singletary, Antonio Gibson, Will Shipley at running back. Seems like a pretty solid running back room to me. Wide receiver, we got Jay Jets, Jalen Waddle, Tank Dell, Christian Watson, A.D. Mitchell, Dontavian Wicks, Malachi Corley, and Elijah Moore. Feel good about and then George Kittle and Dalton Schultz are tight ends. I feel like we drafted a good team here. I think the draft caddy did us well on that team.
Yeah, it seems all right. And you got Schultz, Dell stack with Stroud, and then the Moore Watson stack. We were kind of skeptical on that anyways. Yeah. But with just 2 tight ends and just 2 QBs, I think that's probably good enough.
Yeah.
You might have wanted to win a 3rd QB on that team. I don't know.
I could have done that with my last pick. I was kind of regretting the Deshaun Watson pick. Like I said, I think it worked out okay when we took more. We could have gone with, let it waited a little bit and gotten Bo Nix. I really I'm in on Bo Nix this year. I think he's going to be starting for the Broncos, or we could have gone JJ McCarthy with our Justin Jefferson. So there were things we could have done instead of Deshaun Watson there. But I was okay with in the end, it worked out okay.
Yeah, I think that was a fine team. And you, like I said, you can always adjust the settings if you don't like what it's spitting out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let's see if we go to the HUD here, and I scroll down to I'm in the wrong spot, aren't I? I want to go to Underdog draft settings.
Yeah.
Scroll down, and maybe I would up this quarterback teammate correlation possibly, so that it would get me to.
You might as well up it now because it saves.
Right.
So as long as you don't reinstall.
Yep. So I'll do that. A lot of these things are not. We don't know the schedule yet, so a lot of these aren't factors yet. Oh, and you do have you've got the max settings on 6 for running back. Oh, so we have the wide receiver. So that's probably why it gave us Will Shipley at the end there.
Yeah, it would exactly. It did. If you wanted a 9th wide receiver, you'd have to move that up.
I want to. I'm going to give it the possibility of a 9th wide receiver.
and you have enabled dynamic position on there, wide receiver exclusive. So like what that does is if you take a stud at that position, it'll drop it down. So if you take an RB in like round 1 or 2, then it's only going to want a 5 maximum.
Okay. That's cool.
So it's not just 6. It's, same thing with QB. If you take, is there even a QB going in the first round this year? I don't even know.
No, not until I think
it might count for the second round too.
3.
But if you did for some reason, then it's not going to go 3 QBs. And you could turn that off if you don't like that. But the reasoning is pretty logical, is you're kind of putting all your eggs in that guy's basket anyway. So if he gets hurt, you're kind of fucked.
Right.
Which is kind of what we did with CJ Stroud, Dell, and Schultz.
Right.
We kind of need Stroud to have another stud season.
Yeah.
And that third wide receivers, that third QB's probably not going to do it for that specific team. I think it's on the fence.
Right.
And then if you look at the 150 players data that you can the users, the people watching couldn't see, but if you have the app, you could see it. If you scroll over the player's name, they have an average of 2.5 QBs and 2.5 tight ends.
Yeah.
So that almost tells you exactly what we're doing here. Sometimes you're going to have 2, sometimes you're going to have 3, and it's dependent on how you drafted. And so this one this probably felt more like a 2.2.
Right.
Lean under on the 2.5, and so you just don't take them.
Yep. I thought the draft went well. I might do another draft here, Brian, but I didn't want to. I know you just did a stream before this. I didn't want to. I didn't ask you if you are welcome to stay around. If you want to leave, though, you're also not trying to.
Yeah, normally I would, but I have a meeting in 20 minutes.
You got a meeting. All right. Well, appreciate you hanging out with us, showing us the Draft Caddie. I'll leave the Draft Caddie on. We'll use it for another draft here. Play around with it a little bit.
Beautiful.
Before you head out, where can people find you? Where can people find the Draft Caddie?
It's at my website, bric75.com. I could probably put this in chat. I have it open right here.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways. There's a little Draft Caddie page, and I will put it in chat here. Where am I? Now I'm lost. Okay. It's on my website. There you go, bric75.com right there.
All right, bric75.com. Go check. Is that in chat? I don't see it.
It said it failed to post.
Here. Oh, maybe you can't post links. Bric75.
I guess I can't. You refuse for me to post links. Yeah, let's see if I can put it in private chat, and then you can post it.
Yeah.
There you go. It's probably smart to have that default people not posting links.
Yeah, I suppose. All right, now I will post it. There we go. Now you should be able to go find it in chat, bric75.com/sportshut. Or if you just go to bric75.com, you can click on SportsHut. Easy enough to get there. So you can go find this Draft Caddie for yourself. Shady says, good luck with the meeting to you. I have a feeling
it's with someone in this chat.
I had a feeling that was the case. Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm looking forward to whatever comes of this, if anything comes of this meeting. All right, Brian, I will let you get going. I'll jump into another draft here.
All right.
Since you have this.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Brian. At Brian Hooper _ on Twitter. All right. Thanks.
Later, guys.
All right. And like I said, we will do one more draft here. Throw this overlay on here. And we'll use the draft. I don't think the overlay blocks any of the Draft Caddie, right? I think we're good there. All right. Jumping in one more Best Ball Mania draft. Trying to get through 150 all on stream. So we got to do them 2 at a time, right? And it filled right away. A lot of badges in here. MPV for MVP I've seen in a lot of drafts recently. I don't think I know who it is. If you are in chat, let me know if it's you. I feel like I don't know these names. I think I recognize the usernames, but I can't connect them to any people. So if any of you are drafting with me, let me know. Start making those connections. Ryan asking if I'm getting back to DFS content when NFL comes back. Yeah, I'm almost certainly going to be doing DFS content for the NFL season. Unclear if it will be on my own channel or if I'll be with someone else at that point. But yeah, I'm expecting to do some NFL content. I'm doing UFL content right now with fantasy points. So if you have any interest in doing some spring football, I am doing UFL content. We've had some success there. So if you're missing your football, you can join us there. But yeah, I'll be doing NFL content somewhere, almost certainly. McCaffrey, Lamb, we're going chalk to start. It's fun having somebody to draft with, somebody to chat with while I'm doing the draft. I mean, it's fun chatting with you guys in chat also, but it's a little bit different just having to read versus hearing somebody else talking to me. Nice change of pace, doing all the talking myself. Do we continue the chalk start? No, it goes Jefferson over Jamar Chase. Let's see here. I've got 33% Jamar Chase. Got to share each of Breece Hall and AJ Brown. All right, he goes Bijan. I think I'm going to, well, we'll see what this tells me to do. I'm going to forego Breece Hall, the suggested pick here. I'm going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown because I don't have any shares yet. And we saw what happened going running back early in the last one. So I kind of want to see if we can go a different direction here. The only unfortunate thing with the Draft Caddie for streamer purposes is that I can't go show this and have it given as an auto pick. But I think if I do this for a while, then once we get to like pick 16 here or something, I'll go get out of this and refresh the page. It'll go back to, so it's kind of a workaround for that little issue. Should be able to make it work. Oh, ATX Bearcat. Okay, you are in the 10 hole. Oh, you're right. It's not showing us the, it's no longer showing the user data. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, here we go. ATX Bearcat. Man, Breece Hall at the 10 hole. That's a good fall for you, ATX. I wonder if I turned that off somehow, the show in user data. Here, I'm gonna refresh now. Okay, it doesn't show any of that stuff apparently when I have the board open. So because it's showing it again now. ATX, he did 103 drafts last year. KJP, 150 drafter last year. EO for EO looks like 149. Just couldn't get through that 150th. Guessing that means that they had a draft that was canceled after the fact. That's brutal. You do 150 drafts, then get one canceled after the fact. Not ideal. All right, same as last time. I'm going to skip past Devin Achan. Could go Debo here. Don't really love Nico Collins in this spot. Yeah, I'm going to go Debo. I think. Yep, doing it. So now we started 2 wide receivers. As you can see here, our draft capital already up to 237. And the next pick is worth 98 points of draft capital. So I feel like we're better positioned here to hit our draft capital buckets. Appreciate you, Michael W. Yeah, please do give me the thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can hit the notification button to get alerts when my shows go live. I am doing a lot more shows now, starting this week. I've started ramping up the shows because now we have, I kind of wanted to wait for post-draft to really get into doing a lot of content because I think people just are not ready for it yet. A lot of people, I know there are sickos out there like myself who have been drafting for a month at this point, but not everybody really ready for it yet. So I am really ramping up the content right now. And if you want notifications, hit that notification button. I think that's only for live stuff. I'm not sure if that counts for like if I do pre-recorded videos. Not sure if you get notifications for that. I haven't done a ton of those. I did the just did the pick 6 one a couple weeks back. Maybe it was last week. I did the pick 6 video. I'll probably get into a little bit more of pre-recorded videos as well, just more like strategy stuff. But as I said, I'm doing 150 best ball mania drafts, so we're going to be doing a lot of live streaming on this channel. And I'm hoping that you all will join me for a lot of those. Because otherwise, I'm going to be bored. We have had some, so this appears to be a piss boy room, right? We had Achan fall to the 24, comes all the way back to the turn for Giant Gonzalez. We had Brees Hall fall all the way to the 10 for ATX Bearcat. So as I am trying to be a piss boy, so is everybody else, which is not ideal. Kyron goes at 27. He's also just, I think maybe both Achan and Kyron are just falling in general right now a little bit after the draft, but still feels like kind of a late pick. All right, after M. Saucio's pick, I am going to refresh to make sure we can get the auto pick on for our next pick. And do we have just the one player in here with no data? Giant Gonzalez, the only one who has not done a draft that has been recorded by the caddy, at least. I'm not sure if it's all just from last year. All right, it's telling me to take DK Metcalf. Sure, I'll take DK Metcalf. So now in the buckets, we're already up to 335. So we're almost up to the third bucket already for wide receiver. Open this back up. Yeah, for sure. The NFC North, I mean, the Vikings, I don't know if they're going to be good this year, but I'm excited about the Vikings' future. Obviously, the Bears, very exciting. The Lions have been good. The Packers, Jordan Love looks legit. BKS offering to come on to a stream sometime. Yeah, we can do that. I'm looking for people to come on. Are you on Twitter? I feel like I've seen you on Twitter. I think I remember you from when you were near the top of the regular season leaderboard last year. I feel like you were commenting on stuff. So if you could hit me up on Twitter, BKS, we could bring you on sometime. Would be fun. All right, coming back around to us. Gonna have to. I'm not sure if I need to refresh. I think I do. Maybe I'll wait until my turn. I'll close out of this, see if it does it, and if it doesn't, at like when I have 20 seconds left, I'll refresh at that point. Because maybe I just can't be in this like right when it gets to my turn. T. Higgins. All right. See what happens here. And the next pick is worth 86 points in draft capital. Our next pick, I should say. It's kind of fun drafting with the Draft Caddie, I got to say. I'm enjoying it. Goes Christian Kirk. All right, it wants me to take Lamar Jackson. I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan, drafting a lot there. Screw it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow its advice. Hard for me to pass up on Lamar Jackson in the mid 4th round. I was tempted to just continue pissing here, but I like the Lamar Jackson pick there. Yeah, I think the Vikings will do all right. I still don't know who the quarterback is. It going to be Sam Darnold? Is it going to be JJ McCarthy? I kind of hope that it's JJ McCarthy just for the kind of want to see what we have in him. I think they're going to be probably better with Sam Darnold for this year. Trevor says, I had the number 1 pick. This is my top 7. What do you think? McCaffrey, Olave, DJ Moore, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Brown. I'm trying to think who Brown is in this case. Brown that would be the 6th, 7th round. Who's Brown going around there? I'm blanking. All I can think of is AJ Brown. Oh, Marquise. Oh, yeah, it's pretty late for Marquise Brown. Yeah, it's a really solid start. I'd be very happy with that. McCaffrey, obviously the 101, but then, yeah, you got the Lamar Andrews stack in a good spot. Oh shoot, we're on the clock. All right. Well, we got sniped on Mark Andrews. Not really sniped. I mean, that's just it's a good pick there. Wants us to take Kyle Pitts. I'm going to fall. I like Kyle Pitts here. But obviously, when you take Lamar Jackson there, you're hoping that one of Mark Andrews or Zay Flowers comes back to you, and that did not work out for us. So that was kind of a bummer. But I like Kyle Pitts. Hopefully, we'll find another way to correlate with Lamar later on. Maybe Bateman. Maybe we'll throw on Tez Walker. Maybe Isaiah Likely. A lot of ways to backstack it. Yeah, McCaffrey, Olave, DJ Moore. Like I feel like he shouldn't be going quite as early as he is, but I also do think that he's like the clear top receiver in Chicago, probably. So I don't totally hate him in the first pick of the 3rd round. And obviously, I love the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack. Hollywood falling pretty late. Kamara, that's a fair price tag for him. So yeah, that's a really nice start, Trevor. Yeah, Big Dan. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Could just go Tez later. They also just gave the bag to Rashad Bateman. So I'm in on Rashad Bateman again this year. I'm ready to be hurt again. I was in on him last year, and I was picking a lot earlier. That hurt being as in on Rashad Bateman as I was last year. Luckily, I didn't go full on because it was Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers were very near each other in ADP last year. And I was more into Rashad Bateman than Zay Flowers. And luckily, I didn't really lean into it that much. I got some Zay Flowers, but wish I had just had had gone in on the rookie instead last year, obviously. In hindsight. Can't do it. I'm going to keep pushing my running backs. I'm going to go with Brian Thomas, I think. Yep. Try and get to the top bucket for wide receivers. Oh. It's not letting me guess over here. Nope. All right, I'm going to refresh. It's not allowing me to unclick Kenneth Gainwell. I want to unclick. I just want to be able to see my buckets again. Oh, here we go. It's here. All right. So wide receivers, I'm already up to bucket 2 at wide receiver. And my next pick is worth 53. So if I take a wide receiver with my next pick, I will be moving up to the top bucket already. And that would be my 5th wide receiver. So it would actually think that if I'm reading that right, fine at wide receiver there. I can probably push wide receiver at this point since I only need 27 more points to get into the top bucket. And obviously, I'm not going to stick at just 5 wide receivers. So now that I've spent a good amount of draft capital on wide receiver, it's telling me I could pass it up, I think. All right, I'm glad. I'm glad you're all in on Bateman with me again this year. Dag is generous. Yeah, I don't remember what the actual details were. I thought it was a pretty good dollar amount. Gave him the pouch. I like that. I will probably do some DK drafts at some point. 'Cause I'm trying to do all 150 Best Ball Mania teams, trying to stream all 150 of them. So for now, I'm focusing on just getting the Best Ball Mania streams on. Once I have gotten to a point where it's like, okay, I've done a lot of them. I feel good about where I'm at with being able to stream 150. I can do it. So I don't have any kind of deal with Underdog, so this doesn't have to be Underdog exclusive. It's just I kind of decided to do the 150 Best Ball Mania just as a force myself to start streaming some of these drafts. If I didn't make that claim that I'm going to do 150, it's kind of easy. It's easier to just say, I'm not feeling well today. I'm a little bit tired. Not going to stream. Now I'm just like, all right, I'm in. I'm jumping in head first, doing a bunch of streams. So for now, just doing Best Ball Mania most likely. But as the spring, the summer comes along, I'll probably do more, drafters, DraftKings, etc. Maybe I'll do some weekly winners at some point. I think weekly winners is where I have the strongest opinions about how people get it wrong. All right, Jesus, take the wheel. What are we doing? Alvin Kamara. All right. Haven't drafted a ton of Alvin Kamara. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to. He's a player. As you can see, I have 0 shares so far in Best Ball Mania. So good to add him to the portfolio. Ugly says I have to take Tez with Bateman. I think Tez takes over at the end of the season. Interesting. So you think that it's going to be like Bateman does well early on, and then Tez later on kind of takes over the bigger role of the two of them? I could see that. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, that's the other thing. I love doing drafts while I'm on a treadmill. So that's I've been treadmilling a lot recently, and I love drafting while I'm doing it. So I think I'll probably save some of my drafts for when I'm not on stream, when I can just do a little run, do a little jog, drafting while I'm doing it. So that'll be probably where I'm doing a lot of DraftKings. Then I'll do the puppies and all that kind of stuff on the treadmill. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, it seemed like there was some. Kind of depends who you ask. There are people like myself who loved weekly winners, and there are people who are very opposed to it. I thought it was a good time. Like, just another thing to check every week. I enjoyed drafting it, and I think people just really didn't do it very well. Oh, Stafford going at the 712, and this is a guy who did 150 drafts last year. Already has Jalen Hurts. He does have Puka Nacua, so he's got the correlation there. But that's probably an unnecessary reach. Maybe an accidental. I wonder if that's clicked the star and then it accidentally got it. But it's got the correlation at least. How much is the Draft Caddie? Let me take a look, actually. See if I can figure that out. It's $25 a month, but you get your first 2 days, you get a 2-day trial. And I think that includes like his entire sportsbook HUD. So I think that the Draft Caddie is included with a larger package. Go click on that link and you can kind of see what the deal is. But I want to say it's $25 a month. All right, it's telling me to take Jalen Warren as my second running back. Happy to take Jalen Warren here. I could take Najee, who I guess I have the same number of shares of each of them. I guess this doesn't account for my last draft where I did take Warren, but not far off. So I'll take another share of Warren here. Yeah, I think $25. If anybody knows different on what the Draft Caddy cost is, shout it out in chat. But I think it's $25 a month. And like I said, there is a 2-day free trial. And Saucio goes Najee. Lad McConkey, he's really jumped up boards. Wish I had been in on Lad McConkey prior to the draft because, yeah, it's a lot harder to click him now than it was when he was like, pick 130 or whatever it was pre-draft. A.D. Mitchell goes to Giant Gonzalez. He's doing he's got the Anthony Richardson with A.D. Mitchell. I think he probably could have pushed it and taken A.D. Mitchell or Josh Downs with the on this corner, but maybe he's got a strong preference for A.D. Mitchell, so don't mind the correlation jump there. Our next pick is worth 36 points in draft capital. So if I take a wide receiver here, I will be at 435. So I will be in bucket 1 at that point if I take one more wide receiver here. So it's probably not going to tell me to take receiver here, would be my guess, but we'll find out. This is the question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on whether Lad McConkey is that dude. I think that like the opening is there. I don't think that either Josh Palmer or Quentin Johnson have shown to be all that good. Maybe there's going to be improvement here, but I think from what I have heard, doesn't sound like wide receivers all that often make a huge jump their sophomore year. It's usually if you're not good your freshman year, you're probably just not going to be that good. Man, I'm tempted to take David Njoku here. Get my second tight end out of the way, be done. I guess we took Kyle Pitts early enough that it doesn't think we really need to take another tight end right here. I'm always tempted to just finish the bucket. But sure, I'll go Javonte. They also have Brendan Rice now, who I know the draft capital was less, so it's definitely more likely that it's Lad McConkey. I think I prefer when you factor in ADP, I'm probably gonna have more shares of Brendan Rice than Lad McConkey just based on where he's going. I think he's also high upside rookie receiver. And if he shows out in camp, if he shows out in the preseason, I could see him being higher on the depth chart than people see. Of course, it's a bigger risk because he does not have the draft capital that Lad McConkey has. Yeah, I'd feel good about that. Spurrier says, I think Rice was my number one exposure in the big board. I don't think I had that much of him. I had a little bit, but I drafted, there were a lot of rookie receivers, and I was kind of spreading out my exposures in those last rounds. I didn't take any huge stands. I want to say I had a lot of Javon Baker, which I don't feel like. I wish that I had Brendan Rice instead of Javon Baker. Now that we know the landing spots, Javon Baker lands in New England. Don't feel great about that. I'd rather take my shots on Brendan Rice on the Chargers. Of course, I don't know if they're going to pass the ball that much. We'll find out if we see some adjustments to the skills there. Rico Dowdle goes at 110. Gus Bus goes. All right. What are we going to do here? See, now I still have Njoku there. I passed on Njoku last time. I think here, now that he's falling this far, I'm just going to do Njoku. Close out my tight end room. Because I don't think I need a fourth running back this early necessarily. I guess I do have kind of a ways to go before I reach the next. Oh, but I'm already in. I'm in bucket 5. The target is bucket 5. It says so. I'm not going to stick with just 3 running backs, but seems okay. So we're at quarterback. We've used 86 draft capital. We are in bucket 3. We want to get to bucket 2, which would be we just need to spend 2 more points at quarterback to get there. We got Lamar. Running back, we are in bucket 5. We want to be in bucket 5. So we're in the bucket we want to be, probably add a couple later running backs, but we spent enough on Kamara, Warren, Devontae Williams, according to this. Wide receiver, we do need to go another 28 points, I guess, in draft capital at wide receiver to get to the top bucket. So probably need to start using that. Tight end, we have used 103 in draft capital. We are currently in bucket 2. The target is just bucket 4. So I think we're probably good at tight end. So I think we need to start pissing here is probably my takeaway. Chris asked, do you prefer bully tight end? I do this year just because the tight ends are going later than I think they should in general. So I usually am done with tight end by like Dallas Goedert. It's usually, and sometimes much earlier than that. But I do think people like Ben Sinnott is interesting to me. I kind of think maybe I should be pushing it a little bit more. But I feel like Schultz, the situation got worse. Like for a long time during pre-draft stuff, I was drafting a lot of Dalton Schultz. The situation got worse, I think, for Schultz. The situation got worse for Cole Kmet. The situation got another guy I was drafting a ton of in pre-draft stuff was Michael Mayer. I thought he was their tight end of the future. I thought he was good enough that he would probably take a step forward this year. Then of course they had Brock Bowers, so that's kind of dead. So now we're like a lot of the tight end targets that I liked beyond Dallas Goedert, kind of the situation has gotten worse for them. So a lot of my pre-draft stuff not looking as good after the draft and trades and such. So I do a lot of bully tight end, with Dallas Goedert, kind of being the end of the tier where I'm drafting tight ends a lot of the time. But maybe I need to be, more stop over evaluating guys like Dallas Goedert. Like I'm probably giving him too much credit for his range of outcomes relative to a guy like Noah Fant or Sinnott or a lot of those later tight ends. I probably need to mix it up more than I do. But yeah, so far I would say I've done a ton of bully tight end. I think I might need to refresh here. I'm gonna do it. Refreshing. See if we get there in time. If not, I'm gonna take a receiver, I think. It wants me to take Tajay. Well, I don't love the receivers here, so I'm just going to do it. Probably need to take a receiver soon if I'm going to reach my receiver goal of bucket 1. Yeah, because the later picks are only worth like 2 points in terms of draft capital. So I think I need to take a receiver pretty soon. Of course, I'm gonna want one of those late Baltimore receivers, I think, to pair with Lamar Jackson. I'll need another quarterback at some point. Is Trevor gone? Trevor's gone. All right, so he would have been a quarterback I could take. Could wait and take Geno here. Is Goff gone? Geno goes pretty late. I don't mind taking a late Bo Nix, Bryce Young, Daniel Jones, JJ McCarthy, whatever. So spent enough early with Lamar Jackson that I think it's okay to wait on quarterback for a while. Tough run out for you, ATX. You take Justin Herbert, and then Josh Palmer goes at the turn. That's a bummer. You do have Gus Edwards there. Yeah, so I guess you don't have anybody there with Herbert. That's kind of a bummer. I like that 135 for Jacoby Myers. Like I prefer Jacoby Myers over Josh Palmer personally. So Can't hate that. As you can see here, I'm a big Dontavian Wicks guy. I've already got 2. I think I added a third in that last draft, so I think I've got 3 in my first 7 drafts, 3 shares of Dontavian Wicks. If he busts, I am going to be in a rough spot, I think. I mean, I don't have that much. I'll be fine, but I do like me some Dontavian Wicks. I've been drafting quite a bit. Curious what it gives me. All right, it wants me to take Zeke. I don't think I'm going to take Zeke here when I've got 4 running backs already. I'm definitely taking a wide receiver. I think I'm actually going to take Leggett here because I need another quarterback. It would make some sense for me to take Bryce Young later. So just like build up wide receivers who I could correlate with my second quarterback later. Kind of a tiebreak for me. Plus, I already have 33% Dontavian Wicks. So I think just for the way this build is going, trying to plan ahead, I think Leggett makes sense for maybe I'll be able to stack him down the line. Because Amon-Ra's quarterback is gone, Debo's quarterback is gone. Could take Geno later, so it's good to have some options. Trevor's already gone. Actually, I guess Kirk Cousins is still there. I could have gone Kirk Cousins there. That actually would have made sense for me. Kind of surprised that wasn't suggested. I do have, of course, we could take Watson later as well. So got some options later on. Yeah, I should have just taken Kirk Cousins there in retrospect. I forgot that I had Kyle Pitts on the team. But maybe we. I mean, I'm obsessed with reaching the bucket goals, and Kirk Cousins I don't think is necessary to reach my quarterback bucket goal. Whereas I think if I skipped over wide receiver there, I'd be putting myself behind the 8 ball for the wide receiver bucket. Now I need 11 more points to get to bucket 1 for wide receiver, and my next pick is worth 11 points. So if I take a receiver with my next pick, I will reach my wide receiver goal of getting in that top bucket. Already good at tight end, already good at running back, although, yeah, I've got 4. I'll probably add 1 more. And then at quarterback, I guess I do need, I just need 2 more points at quarterback. So didn't need to spend that draft capital on Kirk Cousins. I still think it was probably the right pick as far as just like correlating my team goes. But this is a new way for me to draft, trying to hit specific buckets. It's kind of fun, but it's different. All right. Jahan Dotson goes, Troy Franklin goes. Catching up on chat. I'm going to close out of the board so we can see what's coming up. Wait, Trevor says, no, I'm here. Oh, never mind. Haha, awkward. What is that about? I feel like I missed something. Yeah, ATX. That was brutal. Losing your Josh Palmer. Oh, was it Trevor who sniped you? I don't know. Yeah, Spurious. Glad we're on the same page. Wicks might be the best over the top wide receiver the Packers have. Yeah, he looked good. He looked good last year, I thought, by some metrics. Does the NFC North have the most offensive talent in the league, or is there another division I'm not thinking about? That is a good question. Definitely a lot of talent in the NFC North. I have to pull up the divisions to really think about where there might be competition. Are you counting quarterbacks as offensive talent, like counting lines, or are we just counting like skill position players? All right, Wicks goes. I almost got yet another share of Dontavian Wicks. All right. Draft Caddie. Let's go. All right, I'm going to have to refresh, I think. Jerome Ford. All right. We go Jerome Ford. Sort of surprised that it wanted me to take Jerome Ford there. I guess just the ADP value for Ford. What is he? Yeah, he falls 10 picks past value or past ADP. Next pick is worth 8. So now we are going to need at least 2 more. I mean, I was going to draft at least 2 more receivers anyway, but I kind of feel like I need to take one soon before it gets to the point where the picks are only worth like 2 points in draft capital. And again, probably over focusing on hitting these targets is probably not the optimal way to draft. I need to be probably focusing more on things like correlation. But since I haven't done it yet, I'm trying in this draft to hit my goals here. AFC South, Chris says. Oh, that's funny. Trevor thought I was talking about him when I was talking about Trevor Lawrence. That is funny. And it is awkward. No, it's not that awkward. Yeah, it's definitely not the AFC East. Don't think it's the AFC North. Could be the AFC South. I mean, I think that they're in the conversation. Again, depends. What do we factor in as far as offensive talent? What do we mean by there? Because I think that will factor in to that question. Excuse me. All right, we're coming up. Not taking a running back here. I don't care what it tells me. Not doing it. All right, Deshaun Watson. So this pick is worth 8. I'll be done at quarterback here if I take Deshaun Watson. I think I'd prefer to take a wide receiver here. Yep, I'm going to go away from it. Even though I've got the correlation there, I'm going Mims. I'm pushing quarterback because I don't think I need it there. But if quarterback comes, because now I've got 424 at wide receiver, just need to take 2 more to get into that top target. The next is only worth 4 picks, 4 points. So if I take a wide receiver with my next pick, I will be in that top bucket for wide receivers. Already hit my goal for running backs. I'm in bucket 5. Quarterbacks, any quarterback I take from here on, I'm going to be within that target of the second bucket for quarterbacks. So as far as reaching buckets goes, I think that pick makes sense. And also another quarterback that I can draft late now in Bo Nix. Billy Jones asked if I will be doing drafting consistently throughout or planning volume around specific dates. I think I will be drafting consistently throughout. I think it's just every week. I'll probably be doing drafts 4 days a week. On Fridays, I do that the UFL show with Fantasy Points. So I think I'm probably not going to be doing drafts on Fridays. But in general, my plan is to do drafts 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. Dougie says NFC West is in the convo with Arizona upgrades. Yeah, Spurious says let's leave it to just skill position players because yeah, if you include quarterbacks, that's obviously going to be a pretty big factor. If it's just skill position players, I don't really think AFC South is there. I guess they've got because the Colts. I mean, I know they have Jonathan Taylor. They do have Pittman. Pittman's good. Jacksonville is decent. They've got some skill, but I don't think they're I don't know, top tier necessarily. Oh, we're coming around on my pick. All right, I'm going to refresh. Also, Drake May's still there. I don't think I have anybody from New England, but there's plenty of ways to backstack with Drake May. Now, I'm not doing it with Tyler Algier. I think I'm going to go Geno. We have completed our quarterback goal. Draft capital 90 spent. We are now in bucket 2. The target was bucket 2. Running backs, the target is bucket 5. We're in bucket 5. Wide receivers, the target is bucket 1. We're in bucket 2. But I guess we do need 2 more wide receivers to reach the next target. Tight ends we've surpassed the bucket we needed to be in. See if I can unclick. Yeah, it's not letting me. I'm going to refresh. Now unclick Tyler Rozier. So I need 2 wide receivers in my final 3 picks to reach the next tier, to reach tier 1 for wide receivers, which is the goal. Yeah, I guess the AFC West, they have Mahomes, they have Herbert, but then it's like Bo Nix. Who is even the Raiders quarterback this year? Is it going to be Gardner Minshew? So I guess it's not that dominant as far as quarterbacks go. But Chiefs, pretty good skill position players now. I think they upgraded quite a bit with Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Devontae Adams there. I guess the Broncos aren't that strong with Cortland Sutton being their top receiver. Chargers not that strong. Trying to think who. I think it probably is the NFC North. Cowboys add Malik Neighbors. The Eagles are pretty damn good as far as skill position players go. The Cowboys, I guess they really just have CeeDee Lamb as like a standout. All right, we're coming back around. All right, what is EO going to do here? Is pick 186. I guess I'm sorted by my rank. All right, I'm going to sort by ADP here. Oh, it's got to. All right, I'm going to sort by ADP. Okay, Bateman is still there. I don't have a correlation with Lamar yet, so I'm just going to go with Bateman. You wanted me to take Jaleel McLaughlin, who is an ADP faller. I really don't feel like I need much, if any more, at running back. I feel pretty good about this running back room. Maybe one more late running back, but I think I needed to correlate with Lamar there. Also queue up Tez Walker. Is Noah Fant still there? I'll queue him up. I don't know that I need another tight end, but there's the correlation there. Yeah, I think NFC North is probably correct as far as the best skill position players overall. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got both of the running backs in Detroit. You got Sam Laporta in Detroit. Like, Detroit skill position player is just incredible. Green Bay, it's kind of unclear like who are the best skill position players there, but Josh Jacobs decent enough as a running back. I think the wide receivers, like I think that there's upside there. I think it's unclear who the best receivers are right now in Green Bay, but I think part of it is like they're all pretty good. Like, probably somebody's going to separate. Maybe Jaden Reed, could be my guy Dontavian Wicks. Vikings obviously have J-Jets. Jordan Addison has looked pretty good. Hawkinson, when he gets back, good. I actually think Aaron Jones is really, really good running back. And then the Bears, of course, have come on. They add DeAndre Swift. They add Keenan Allen. They've got DJ Moore. They add Rome Odunze. Like, it's just, yeah, I think it is the NFC North probably. But there is some high-end talent in the NFC East. Yeah, I'm debating. NFC West is kind of interesting also. Hang on. Oh, we're coming back to me. I got to move Demarcus Robinson up my board. I keep saying, like, I think that he's a good pick late in drafts, and I'm keep not drafting him and not really thinking about it. Probably because he's just not high enough on my board. I think Noah Fant must have gone. Yeah, Noah Fant goes. Tez Walker goes. Glad I took Bateman, I guess. Refresh here. See what the draft caddy wants me to do. Wants me to take Will Shipley. I do need one more receiver. I think I'm going to go receiver here. Rondale. Come on down. Only 25% drafted. I guess there are a lot of these guys. I do like Brendan Rice. I could have gone there. He's 41% drafted, though. Jacob Cowing is just 5% drafted. That's spicy. But as you can see, it makes sense to, I think, scroll down here. We could take Will Shipley with the next one, but we have reached our goal of getting into bucket one at wide receiver. We spent 427 draft capital. That is the minimum for being in bucket one. So I think we're probably good. We've reached all of our goals. We've gotten into the bucket 2 for quarterback, bucket 5 for running back, bucket 1 for receiver, and bucket 2 for tight end. So we're good from a draft capital standpoint. Part of the reason I didn't take Will Shipley there is because I don't have any Tyrone Tracy yet, and I'm kind of intrigued by it. I kind of want to take Tyrone Tracy, so I was hoping he was going to fall back to me. I should have gone Tracy with my last pick, and then waited to see if Brendan Rice fell to me. Of course, he went also, so I'm all right with it. Coming back around to my pick. A lot of Bears fans here in chat. Yeah, I'm re-upping my Cubs fandom because of Justin Steele. Don't know if you could see. You can't see it anymore. I don't have my camera position right, but you can see my Cubs hat now. If I got my background in certain screens, you can see the Cubs hat. I'm re-upping my Cubs fandom because Justin Steele came on to Playing for Keeps. A really nice guy. He seems like a really good dude. So re-upping my Cubs fandom. Not going to re-up any kind of Bears fandom though. I guess I never really was. Re-upping would be an overstatement anyway. All right, I still got Will Shipley here if I want him. Anybody else I should consider who has not been drafted as much? I do kind of like Deontay Foreman. He's only 18% drafted. Kenneth Gainwell is much like not being drafted nearly as much as kind of interesting. Rasheen Ali, maybe somebody to consider. I'll go Will Shipley here. Want to have some shares. I think he's got. I've seen some people suggest he's got a lot of talent. So, okay, taking him. Man, Izzy Abanaconda, just 1% drafted. He was a guy that leg up was all over. I drafted a ton of him in part because they were all over him, and now people no longer believing in Izzy Abanaconda apparently. Interesting. I'll probably have to draft some here as well. Is that right? I missed that. Wando's only 25% drafted. Oh, Rondale. Okay. Yeah. That does seem low, right? But yes, it does make more sense. No, Tez Walker went before my next pick. I went Rashad Bateman when I could have taken Tez Walker. But yeah, he went. I was going to double tap them, and then Tez went before my next pick. All right, Chris. Thanks for hanging out. See you later. I'll be doing a lot of these streams, so hopefully you'll be able to join for more of them. If anybody, watching after the fact, or if you're watching now, you can comment under the video. Let me know if you have anybody that you want me to bring on as guests. It was really fun drafting with Bric. I do want to have a lot of guests on the channel. So, let me know. Let me know who you would like to see on the channel for future drafts. This one is done in the books. I think I like both of the teams that I drafted here today with the draft guide. I think it leads me in some directions that I may not have thought to go on my own. It kind of led me away from some of my usual favorite players. Not all of them. I still got my guy Lamar Jackson. I'm heavy on Lamar Jackson. And this one I actually went away from some of the suggestions, but went with the Javonte Williams pick, which instinctively I wanted to take David Njoku at 103, and then he fell all the way to me at 114. So felt pretty good about that pick. All right, I'll go to the draft. And if any of you want me to look at your team here, happy to do so. But overall, I think it went okay for me. Ended up with, and we can look at my team specifically, Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith at quarterback. At running back, got Alvin Kamara, Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Tyjae Spears, Jerome Ford, and Will Shipley. Wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Brian Thomas Jr., Xavier Legette, Marvin Mims, Rashad Bateman, Rondell Moore, and then tight end we got Kyle Pitts and David Njoku. I think that I was aiming for these draft buckets, and I feel good about every position. I think all these positions look pretty solid. Still correlated my team okay with Lamar. Got the just a single stack with both my quarterbacks. Got Lamar with Rashad Bateman, and then we got Geno Smith with DK Metcalf. So just single stacks there, but I guess I could have gone Rashawn Ali, is that the name? The Baltimore running back with my last pick instead of Will Shipley. Maybe correlate with Lamar a little bit there. But overall, I think that I feel good about that team. All right. Yeah, Spags definitely would love to have Spags back on. Okay, ATX Bearcat. Let's take a look at ATX Bearcat's team. So you have Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert at quarterback. I think that's fine from a draft capital standpoint. Breece Hall, David Montgomery, Gus Edwards, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert. I think that's okay. It's you took an early Breece Hall, so you were able to wait a little bit and just stick with 5 running backs. It's a little bit light. Maybe I would have wanted one more, but I think it's probably fine with Breece Hall. I mean, you've got some high floor in David Montgomery, Gus Edwards. I think also. I don't hate the running back room. Wide receivers: Drake London, Michael Pittman, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. So you got the 2 Chicago receivers that you must have been, I'm guessing you were sniped on, Caleb. Jacoby Myers, Malachi Corley, Greg Dortch, and then Evan Ingram, Isaiah Likely, and Hayden Hurst at tight end. And let's see, as far as correlation goes, so you got Trevor with Ingram. You got Herbert with, you got Gus Edwards there. And then also anybody else? Hayden Hurst. So that's not the pairing you're probably looking for there. You got sniped on Josh Palmer, so that hurt you a little bit. But I think you recovered as well as you could. I'm sure you were planning on drafting Josh. And you said in chat as much that you're planning on drafting Josh Palmer there. So you kind of got screwed a little bit by the room, but I think you recovered well enough. You made some things work. You got your quarterback stacked up in some ways. So hopefully he's throwing to Hayden Hurst in the fantasy playoffs. Assuming that you are one of the other teams along with me to advance from this room. I think that your team looks okay. It's not like, it didn't work out for you perfectly where everything fell into place, but I think you recovered well enough to make a viable team there, would be my read of that team. Yeah, you missed Caleb, you missed the Chargers receivers. Yeah, it's tough when that happens. Like sometimes you try to make things work and they just don't come together the way you want them to. But I think you recovered well enough with that team. All right, that is going to do it for this video. Again, I'm probably not. I don't think I'm doing any best ball streams tomorrow. I'm going to be on the Fantasy Points channel doing a UFL slate breakdown for UFL this weekend tomorrow. Next week, we'll be back Monday doing some best ball streams. I don't think I'm going to be streaming on the weekend. Maybe I'll change that over time. My current plan is no weekend streaming, just doing Monday through Thursday best ball, UFL on Fridays. And of course, Wednesday nights typically is going to be when I do playing for keeps. So that's going to be the content schedule. I think in the short term, maybe I'll change it. Maybe I'll start doing some short videos as well. But that is the current what I have in the works for now. Of course, this is best ball whenever, so we can just pop up whenever we want to. Whenever I feel like doing a stream, might just surprise you. So make sure you've got the notifications turned on, you're subscribed to the channel, all of that good stuff. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. This has been fun, and I'll catch you next time.